right, everyone. Welcome back once again to the second episode in season 2, The Shift. Once again, as always, want to give a shout out to followers, supporters, and now our listeners on all podcasting platforms all over the world. Thank you for all your support and love. We appreciate it. I am virtually live from Woodbridge Park in Atlanta, Georgia, my hometown. So those of you who have been to Woodbridge Park in Atlanta downtown, you will probably notice the ATL playground behind me. So paying homage to back home. And I got on my King T'Challa sweatshirt, showing off and paying homage to the Black Panther. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, an extraordinary actor, and we're going to seriously miss the Black Panther for sure. So lots of things to talk about, a lot of things going on, but today's episode is about the DJ MC duo, and that is Pete Rock and CL Smooth. So super excited to get things rolling. And as I switch gears here, I got a couple of guests that I want to bring on. I got William J. Boyd again. I think it's like the 10th or 11th time. I stopped counting how many times this brother's been on the show, man. Like, for real. So, Boyd, always happy to have you aboard. And I got my blood brother again, Matt Dalby, on for the third time. Happy to have you on board with us again, sir. So, Matt, how you been doing, my good sir? What's been good, dude?
Man, everything's been good. Trying to survive this e-learning stuff going on with the kids. I love my kids to death, but I'm telling you, your nephew, I just want to DDT his ass real quick, but I still love him, man. But other than that, everything's good. Yeah, Jake the Snake. Yeah, Jake the Snake. Put out Damien after it, man. Put out Damien. But no, but everything's been good, man. I just hope everybody's living well and being precautious, because like this COVID is not a political thing. It's a virus that's real. So
no doubt, it's not a game. It is not a game. No question. Jay Boyd, what's good, man? How are you doing tonight, brother? How are you?
Man, look, I'm blessed and highly favored. The thing is, I'm on this year, especially. I'm in my counting your blessings mode, and too often in life we take things for granted, and I'm not taking anything for granted. Cats ask me every day, "Hey, how's it going? How are you doing?" I am great, because even if I'm not, if I say it enough, my body will say, "You know what? Let's try this great thing." So to everybody out there listening, you know what I'm saying? God bless, Godspeed. You know what I'm saying? Mental health is important. And I'm just feeling great, man.
No question. The positivity of the mind. Absolutely, man. It's all about positive thinking. And that is what has brought this podcasting platform as far as it is. Positive thinking, man. And on top of that, to go along to Will's point, positive people around you too. You want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and not so much bringing the negative around. You know what I mean? So thank you both for being on. And we're going to talk about Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Pete Rock, government name Pete Phillips. CL Smooth, government name Corey Penn. Both from money earning Mount Vernon, New York, upstate, which is also the home of Heavy D and the Boys and DJ Eddie F. So there was a whole little crew that kind of grew up together, but we're going to talk about them two in particular. So kind of a little bit of accolades here that you're going to see roll down with the 3 albums that they had in the time frame of The Shift. In 1991, they had an EP called All Sold Out, which was actually a pretty decent but it didn't really hit until the second album, which was Mecca and the Soul Brother, launched in June of 1992. Great hits off of there. Would the Reminisce Over You is on there, which is considered number 12 by Rolling Stone magazine as the top hip-hop song of all time, and number 13 of The Source as well too. So just a great hip-hop song, which I know we're going to talk about a lot through this portion today. But there's other hits on there too. Straighten It Out was on there. Lots of Lovin'. Act Like You Know was some of the favorites I liked on there as well. Lots of Lovin' was really smooth, with what we talked about a little earlier before we taped. And we're going to definitely do this, how CL Smooth has the ability to ride that beat that Pete Rock made. So when you think about soul and hip-hop, the first person you think about is Pete Rock. If you heard any of his music, you hear the soul. He is definitely I wouldn't say the heart and soul, but definitely one of the soul brothers of hip hop, and that's why he is soul brother number one.
Yes, number one
for that reason. So, and then 2 years later, in 1994, they made the main ingredient, which is I think is a little bit better than the previous album. I think he did some more. Pete Rock rather did more with the sampling of the Souls records. Some of the songs that I picked out this week was Caramel City, I Got Love, The Main Ingredient, Take You There, and Searching. Those are the few that stuck out to me as I was listening through this week. And both albums received 4 mics from the Source magazine. So those are the accolades that we have for Pete Rock and CL Smooth. So let's jump into our discussion. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Matt first. So Matt, you get the first question today.
Let's do it.
Matt, what is your favorite either album or song that resonates with you when you think about Pete Rock and CL Smooth?
All right, favorite album, part of the main ingredient. That was a, to me, that was their. It didn't have that many albums, like you said. They had the EP. I think it was like 6 songs on that.
Yeah, 6 songs. Yeah.
And one was a remix too, so really 5. Then I can't think of the name. The Mecca.
Yeah, Mecca and the Soul Brother. Yeah,
Mecca and the Soul Brother, and then they had the main ingredient. It just sounds like every album they went got more polished.
Yeah.
And to me, the main ingredient, because that's when he really started sampling, mixing in different sounds with the sampling, and it just felt like more polished album. But of course, and I'm gonna say it right now, Troy, They Reminisce Over You, greatest hip hop song ever.
Oh,
that is the greatest.
Oh.
I always had the Message as number 1, but just thinking about all week, listening to a whole bunch of hip hop songs, They Reminisce Over You is the greatest hip hop song ever.
So let me get this straight.
Everything.
Let me get this straight, bruh.
Yeah.
So you are saying that They Reminisce Over You is the perfect hip hop song. I just want to make sure that I understand you correctly. And
let me show the pinky. It's the perfect
put the pinky on him
song. It's the
wow.
It's the perfect hip hop song.
Wow.
So if you think of the beat is tight, because you said like Pete Rock always soul brother number 1, and he always mixed a little jazz in his beats too.
Yes.
Right in the beginning, in the beginning, you hear the first 5 seconds of the song.
Yeah.
It got this. The sound got you hooked. Then you got CL, just the flow, and the lyrics of it. Come on, the lyrics are that's how you represent a friend that's fallen.
Yeah.
Will They Reminisce Over You? It's the perfect hip hop song. It's the number 1 hip hop song all time in my eyes.
Boy, that's bold. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
That's bold. And you know what? And I'm not even gonna give you any push on that, man. Typically, I would.
I'm mad at you. I mean,
I'm not even mad about that, because when you go back and listen to They Reminisce Over You, the first 2 verses that CL Smooth talks about is like how he grew up, what he was environment around him growing up, and then the 3rd verse he saved for Troy specifically, talking about 2 fools fighting in the street. You know, that's how they kind of like started getting notoriety. And I would agree, if you wanted to pay homage to a fallen brother or a friend of yours, that is the way to do it. And it's perfectly made, beautifully made. And I'm not going to agree, but I can understand.
That's fine. That's fine. But I'm just saying, for me, there's no flaws in that song. And he has catch lines like, because my biological father wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
How many times we said that, especially from our boys who didn't have fathers.
Yeah.
And had a stepdad. So it's the perfect hip hop song. It's the best, hands down.
Ooh, that's bold, man. I like it, man. I like it. I'm sure our listeners are gonna enjoy that as well too. So, Boyd, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you. I know it's kind of hard to follow that after Matt just burned the stage up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you come behind that, but I guess I put a different twist on this. So when you talk about Mecca and the Soul Brother and the main ingredient, which one do you resonate with and why?
I would have to say the main ingredient, and mainly because of When They Reminisce Over You. There you go, Matt. But it's like that was in the same vein of I was big into Heavy D at the time. And, you know, on a side note, I think a great companion piece to Renee Reminisce Over You is Heavy D's Peaceful Journey, because that album resonated with me big time at the time too.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say the main ingredient, because it was, for all the reasons you said, and it was a perfect offering during that golden age. You know what I'm saying? That flow that CL Smooth has, it's, I don't want to say unmatched, but in as much as like DJ rapper combos, you know what I'm saying? The only one above him would be Rakim. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it, love it, hate it. My favorite song from them would probably be Let's See What's Next on the Menu.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think that was on the Boomerang soundtrack.
Yeah, it was actually. Yep. Yes, sir.
That one was nasty. That was when I'd say I didn't appreciate him as much as I should have. But when I heard Let's See What's Next on the Menu, I started saying, this guy can flow. Let me go back and check, because during that time I was in a Heavy D, Naughty, you know, other cats like around that time. But CL Smooth is so underrated, it's criminal. They're just criminal. It's criminal.
We're gonna come back to that point about CL Smooth, Will, because I'm gonna bring that boomerang back to you here in a second. But I'm gonna pass the mic back over to Matt, because Matt also made another bold statement this week as well, you all. So along with the one he just dropped on everybody, he was also the one, or the only one this past week, that felt that Pete Rock and CL Smooth is in the top 3 of DJ MC combinations, where everyone else felt they were in the top 5. So top 5, top 3, however you want to look at it, they're in the top tier for sure. But Matt, you were the only one that said they were top 3. So if they're top 3, where do you place them in that top 3, and who was in the top 3 with them?
All right, top 3. And we're saying of all time, right?
Of all time. DJ. Now we're talking DJ MC combo.
DJ, yeah. So of course, number one is has to be Eric B and Rakim. That's given. That's Jordan status with, you know, DJ and MC.
Agreed.
Number 2 is Pete Rock and CL Smooth, and then number 3. I know we talked about it a little bit, but if you're asking me more influential, I'll have to go par with DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince over Gangstar.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about better, Gangstar would be number 3. But if you're talking about impact, hey, those cats won a Grammy.
Yeah,
so
yes.
They put hip hop on the Grammy. So I'm sorry, that has to that counts for a lot. So
yeah.
But and the reason why I did it, because like you were saying in the opening and accolades, they weren't together that long, but they had 2. If you really think about it, 2 of their first 2 full albums received 4 mics on Source.
Yeah.
Just imagine if they actually would stay together for a decade. It would have been unparalleled. They could have almost. It sounds crazy, but they could have almost passed Eric B and Rakim if they would actually stay together.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could argue that, but I think, and I could see your top 3. I mean, being the first hip hop group to win a Grammy, that's really, really hard, and that's in the history books forever. So that's never ever going away, right? So I could see that, and then I could also
better
see
than Gangstar. I'm not saying they're better.
Right. I mean, but we're talking about impact overall. So, So I mean, I don't think you can. And then, you know, when you look at and I would even say that DJ Jazzy Jeff as a DJ is underrated as well too, as a producer.
Yes.
Some of his mixing, I've heard a lot of his mixes in the past. I'm like, wow, that was funky, that was dope.
Yes.
Like, and then like, yo, that was Jazzy Jeff. I was like, oh, for real? Like, oh, snap. Okay, bet. So yeah, I mean, I think it's on the perspective of what you look at. I think that Gangstar, you gotta slide them in there. Maybe a tie even somewhere in there, only because of.
I'm good with that.
Oh yeah, only because I'm only saying that, not to go against what you're saying, but I think when you're looking at Gangstar though, and we talked about this last week, so I'm gonna beat a dead horse, but I think TJ Premier, I mean, that guy as a producer is his longevity. I think what speaks volumes. But I do respect it, and I appreciate it. My dude, man, I appreciate it. So, all right, boys, so you get the hard one, man. You get the hard question. So we were talking earlier about CL Smooth and him not getting the credit for being the masterful MC that he is. What is your take on that, and how do you feel about him not being named, we'll say, in the top 50? I saw a couple of lists this past week of the top 50 MCs that have ever blessed the microphone, and I didn't see CL Smooth on any of those lists, which to me is a travesty. So hip hop, we got to relook at that one more time.
Yeah.
If I get to vote on that panel, I'm definitely voting CL Smooth on the list. But why is that, Will? Why do you think that is? And is he underrated, or is he just not commercial success?
Both. But it's insulting. It really is insulting because they had two. Look, back when the mics existed, I mean, when they mattered before Benzino. Yes, I said that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back then, in my opinion, I think the only reason those weren't 2 5-mic albums is because it's their music and what they presented in their art wasn't as palatable to the masses as, say, a more, I don't want to say more polished, but a different version, or like say a Heavy D, a Salt and Pepper. Yeah. Because even back then, you knew who the heavyweights were, and they kind of fell into a certain groove, you know what I'm saying? And the hip hop connoisseurs, the people that were conscious, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't have to be like, like Malcolm X status, you know what I'm saying? You could also, lean toward Martin, so to speak, if you get my drift. But he's criminally underrated, and there are rappers on that top 50 list, and it's like, no, stop, move them down, because in my opinion, some of the people on that list invalidates it. But CL Smooth, his cadence, his flow, the way he structured his rhymes, okay? It was more like poetry, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because he didn't follow any like normal rhyme scheme. Yeah. There was you could literally say most of the artists during the golden age sounded like no one else. But he, singular, like no one's, like people sounded like Rakim, but they weren't quite that way. I think CL Smooth, if somebody said name a rapper that no one sounds like, past, present, or future, it's CL Smooth. No one rhymed like him. No one structured their sentences. He was extremely articulate. There was no slurring. Every word he said, everything he said, every thought, every idea, it was crisp, it was clear, and it was palatable. It wasn't, I mean, he may have, threw some native things in there every now and then because of their affiliations and everything, but, and a quick addendum to my favorite song. I know I said what's next on the menu, but that Lots of Lovin' remix is right there.
Yeah,
right,
that was a good one.
there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Just going back, all those feelings, because I was in Germany at the time. I was a young man, and all those feelings that I had, all the good times that I had, literally had some sort of Pete Rock and CL Smooth in there. Yeah. When you talk about duos, CL Smooth is a better lyricist than Guru, but Premier is a slightly better DJ, in my opinion, than Pete Rock. So Pete Rock, they're right there. They're top. Yeah. They're top right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they are criminally underrated. Yeah,
I would agree, man. And when I was putting this list together for season 2, I was like, man, I can't do it without either one of them. So I mean, they gotta fit. I don't know how I'm gonna figure this out, but I'm glad we're talking about it. And the last topic I want to discuss before we start wrapping things up, gentlemen, is Pete Rock as a producer. So Pete Rock has produced some dope ass songs over the years, and I want to hear from you two. What are some of your favorite Pete Rock produced songs that are not for Pete Rock and CL Smooth? So, Will, I'll start with you first. What's your favorite Pete Rock produced song not for the duo?
Down with the King, baby.
Run DMC.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Like, okay, so Pete Rock he's like Count Chocula. You know what I'm saying? He's like this genius of obscure soul jazz records, and And all those songs most of them have like dirty ass horn loops, you know what I'm saying? Just dirty, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you feel like, you're about to watch an episode of Sanford and Son, the way that dirty loop comes in there. It's like, oh, good luck. And you have to make that face. You got to be like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
That stank face. Yeah.
He is unmatched in his category. I'm telling you, man. Unmatched. So that Down with the King song, when it was produced, the magnitude of it, the gravity of it, in and of itself, they were the ones that were chosen to usher in the new age of Run DMC. And it was so fitting. It was dark. It was sensual almost. You know what I'm saying? It was it made you feel something. And they took their verses, Pete Rock and CL Smooth, they took their verses and they used classic Run DMC lines. You know, 2 years ago, a friend of mine, and then I'm the man you see in the place to be. You know what I'm saying? And they killed it. And I love the way Pete Rock structures his songs. It was perfect, man. He gave everybody a chance to shine, and every verse, every part of the song matched and complemented the flow of the individual rhyming.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
It's a rare skill, but I'm telling you, that's Pete Rock.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate it, Will. Appreciate it. All right, Matt. Same question, bruh. Same question. So we're talking about Pete Rock as a producer. What is your favorite Pete Rock produced song not for Pete Rock and CL Smooth?
Not for Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I like Down with the King, but I can't, and I could be wrong, but even though it was a remake, didn't he produce The World Is Yours with Nas?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah. I know it was a remake, but
he was even on it.
I have to say that's part of my favorite one.
Yeah,
that was part of my favorite one. Yeah.
And to go to your points, I did a top 3, just throw some out there. But number 3, I had Down with the King. Number 2, I had Blue Funk for Heavy D. I thought that was really
that's right. He did
really funky song. So y'all go check out or go back and listen to Blue Funk from Heavy D.
Right. Go back.
Funky,
because I have that album.
Funky song,
that's
man.
Right.
Funky song. But number 1 was The World Was Yours. I mean, we're gonna talk about this when we get to Nas later on in the season. When we get to Nas, we get to Illmatic. I won't even talk about that because when we get to Nas later on in the season, but Illmatic, I'm as a precursor. Illmatic is the perfect hip hop album. I don't care what other album you put up against it, but like I said, I'm gonna hold on that until down the road. But The World Is Yours is dope, man.
Yeah,
like,
that was it.
Watching Gandhi, you know what I mean? Like Nas just wrote is so dope, man. Like
it's the beat, the sound of the
and
song.
like the chorus. Whose
world is this? Yeah, I remember watching it. Young TV raps.
It's so smooth, man. And that's that soul.
It also helps that Pete Rock and Heavy D were related. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, cousins, right?
Cousins. Matter of fact, Don't Curse. That's another one, man.
Don't Curse. Song. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no doubt. But gentlemen, I appreciate it, but we gotta start to wind things down. And as we are gonna be doing for this entire season, is doing the Trayvon Martin Hood salute during the shoutouts portion. So we're gonna pass the mic over to William James Boyd first. And who are you shouting out this week, my good sir?
It's going to be short, simple, and to the point. Money Earned in Mount Vernon, man. They gave us Pete Rock. They gave us CL Smooth. They gave us Heavy D, Eddie F. You know what I'm saying? So Money Earned in Mount Vernon, if you're out there listening, you know what I'm saying? Mad props, okay? Stay up. 1.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Matt, who are your shout-outs going to this week?
I'm actually going to shout out Will because this is my first time meeting this cat in over like 20-something years. So I finally get to meet who I always consider the best man I ever know in my life, who he considered his big brother. So Will, shout out to you. I appreciate meeting you for the first time. I hope this ain't the only time. So shout out to you, brother.
No doubt, man. Well, yeah,
Love, man, love,
yeah,
man.
mad love, man. Like when we talk about big brothers, you know, Will's one and Frank is as well too. So Frank, if you watching this, much
Yes,
love to you, because Frank, like he was like he was just like
the big brother.
he was the big brother of everybody. You know what I mean? He took me under his wing, him and his wife Kelly. So
Yes.
shout out to Frank and Kelly, two of my favorite people on the entire planet, that helped me along with this journey as well. Because in the beginning, yo, like it was just us, right, Boyd? It was me, you, and Frank, like doing every single week, right? It was just us, but shout outs this week. All right, I'm gonna shout out. Man, I'm drawing a blank right now. Actually, I'm gonna give a shout out to you two, my blood brother, my army brother, Will and Matt. Thank you both for being on and continuing on with this journey with me, having fun, just bugging out, talking about my favorite topic, which is hip hop. I want to give a shout out to my family, mom, pop, everybody here in the house, my kids, who are my life, who are everything that I do, everything for. My wife, Jessica, who has always had my back since day zero. And I want to give a last shout out to a couple of folks that have lost their life. One is Chadwick Boseman, who was the Black Panther, who I got on paying homage, salute to Chadwick Boseman, incredible actor, and losing the Black Panther hurt as if I lost a best friend. That's how much that hurt. So shout out to you, Chadwick. And I want to say shout out to Trouble T. Roy and shout out to Heavy D from Money on and Mount Vernon as well, to Testaments to Will. Their contribution to hip hop is unmatched. And next week we got a special episode. Next week we got Cypress Hill, and I have a group from DB Entertainment, 36 and Brimstone, coming into Diggie's A2 Studios, hanging out with me. We're gonna chop it up. It's a great episode. Can't wait to chop it up with them, so you guys will check that out. And I'm gonna end this week with a verse from what my brother just said, the greatest hip hop song of all time. And way to CL Smooth ended the song. He said, Pete Rock hit me, enough respect due, would the reminisce over you. Real.
My God.
All right, one love, y'all. Peace out.